Welcome and thank you for joining me for another coffee with Bridget. And today's coffee is Global Trek. This is one of my favorite coffees. It's so good. And I am enjoying it. I needed my coffee this morning. So today I want to talk about one of the most important decisions I've probably ever made. So over the last week, my daughter hasn't wanted to go to school. This is after going to school for 100 days straight with no absences, not even a sick day. And she just decided she didn't want to go to school anymore. And I knew something was wrong. And it's been an ongoing thing for a couple weeks. So I asked her, what's going on? And she said, oh, the girls are being mean to me. Then she said the boys were being mean to her. Then she said our teacher was being mean to her. And I was just like, okay, this story's changing. This is not what's really going on. So she didn't want to go to school yesterday. And I was like, okay, you need to go, but I'll let you hang out with me. We took her sister to school, and then we went into her school, and I was like, I'm going to talk to the principal or I'm going to talk to the counselor and say there's a problem here. There is something wrong. My kid needs extra help on some level. This kid needs extra help. Some sort of thing is going to happen. So I walked in and I said, I need to talk to the counselor or the principal. Michelle was right there with me, and the principal was in the front office. She kind of did it in public instead of taking me to her office, which I felt was a little bit unprofessional to air out the issues in front of everybody. So I wasn't impressed by that. But she asked Michelle, what's wrong? Why don't you want to go to school? Is anybody picking on you? And Michelle said, no, I'm just tired. I want my mommy. And so right away when I heard I'm tired, I was like, okay, we're tired on a social level. We're tired on a mental level. This is not a physically tired because she got plenty of rest. So I was like, okay, something else is going on here. So I asked the teacher, I said, is there a way I can get the ball rolling on her being neurodiverse? Because I know personally, because I have dyslexia and dyscalculia, I know how it felt when I went to school, and especially at Michelle's age. That age is very difficult. Peer pressure is real. Groupthink is real. You want to conform. You want to be like everybody else. And she is very much the one who wants to be the best in her class. She doesn't want to be the lowest performer. So basically, I came to the realization, it just dawned on me, okay, she's neurodiverse like I am, and she needs the tools to help her. The tools that I didn't get at that early age. I wasn't recognized for being neurodiverse, for having dyslexia and dyscalculia until I was in middle school. So I looked at the principal and I said, okay, I suspect she has dyscalculia and dyslexia like I do. How do I get her into that program? Do you have services here that work with kids who have these disabilities? And I think it shocked the heck out of the teacher or the principal. She really didn't seem to um, comprehend that. And I think it's because Michelle is already really good at masking. She is ahead of her class when it comes to reading. She's in 5th grade level reading, even though she's in 2nd grade. And that's because I read to her since she was a baby. I had a stack of books. A stack of books that I read to her since she was a baby. So I think she's memorized the words like I did. She didn't have to sound them out. She just memorized the words. And so she is ahead of the game when it comes to reading. And because her reading competency is so high, I think they think that she's being lazy when it comes to math and writing. But she really is struggling with writing, and she's really struggling with math. And I sat down and I wrote with her, and I noticed she turns her letters around like I did. She is probably a little bit worse than I was. I was pretty bad, but she was a little bit worse than I was. When it comes to turning her letters and numbers around. She does it more often than I did. So, and with more things. So to her, 14 and 41 are the same number. And to me, I knew the difference between those. So, excuse me, my tummy tucked. Uh, so I was like, okay, As someone I listened to on here, Spicy Coping said, spicy adults have spicy children. And it just clicked. It just clicked in my brain. She needs help. So she went to school yesterday and she was not happy about it at all. And she decided she didn't want to go to drama class. For some reason, I was there at 2 o'clock. Usually on Mondays, she has drama class and she's there until 4. So I was there at the normal let out time. And she came out and was really upset, crying, I don't want to go to drama club. I don't want to go to drama club. I want my mama. And so luckily I was there and I gave her hugs and said, okay, what's going on? And she wouldn't really tell me. So this morning she didn't want to go to school again, which I expected. I hated school. I mean, I really did, because I was so different and because I struggled. So I understood. And this is the age to really nip that in the bud, to really help them, because this is the age, by the age of 7, you pretty much have the world figured out. So she needs this intervention now to help her see the world in a way that's friendly and not completely adversarial to her. So I was talking to her and I said, okay, why don't you want to go to school? And she was, she gave a litany of answers. And I said, no, what's the real reason why you didn't want to go to school? And she goes, I'm not good at it. And I was like, yeah, it's the learning struggles that she's having that's causing her not to want to go to school. And she did tell me that her teacher kind of lost it with her a couple times. And I think her teacher doesn't think she's trying. And she's trying her best. She's giving it her all, because she is not a kid who wants to fall behind. She's not a kid who doesn't want to do well. She really is a people pleaser. So honestly, and she wants to sit there and draw instead of doing the homework, which I understand. She is a lot like I was. So she just computes things differently. She processes things differently, and she's in a different level than the other kids. She's not, the typical approach with her is not going to work. So I turned in the letter, and she's on her pathway to get evaluated for neurodiversity. And it was really cool because when I actually dropped her off at school yesterday, the speech therapist was there, and I noticed that she had a neurodiversity bag. I didn't know she was a speech therapist, but I was like, you specialize in neurodiversity? And she goes, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, my name is Bridget. I am neurodiverse, and I believe my daughter Michelle is neurodiverse. And she's like, well, I'm a speech therapist. And she's like, Michelle doesn't seem to need speech. And I was listening to her. She speaks pretty well. She's like, but I do recommend the full panel for evaluation. And I'm like, good. So I got really great information from her that it's going to take 15 days for them to get together and make the evaluation plan. Then they have, I think, 3 months or something ridiculous to go ahead and do the evaluation plan. So they take their time, is what I really heard her saying, which is good. So yeah, it's probably the biggest important decision that I've ever made, to have my daughter tested for neurodiversity. And I'm pretty sure she's neurodiverse like I am. She's just like mama. And that's what I told her. You're just like mama. Mama's been successful. Mom went to college. Mom went and got an MBA. You can be just as successful as me. You just learn differently. And I really hope they have new tools and a toolbox that she can pull out and use for her learning style, because they sure as heck didn't when I was a kid. They pretty much put me in the corner and was like, well, you have fun. They didn't really keep me in the classes with the other kids. They didn't really challenge me. They really kind of just put me to the side and was like, you're never going to succeed. Bye. And I hope that's changed. I really hope that's changed, that they see a future for these kids, because there are people like me who've succeeded despite of these learning disabilities. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Well, that's the end of this vlog. I hope you've enjoyed it. Something to think about. I hope your kids aren't struggling in school, but it's part of life. So take care and have a wonderful day. Bye for now.